It's fun. It's funny too because I wanted to also touch up on because we was talking about family.
Right.
We was talking about people supporting you. I think people don't really understand like how much parents in general, because as this Father's Day just passed, I just really was thinking, and shout out to Mother's Day too, but Father's Day passed, and I really just see how important it is to have your mom and your dad in your life. I think it's just so vital because as I get older now, I really think like, where would I be? Like, what would I be doing if my parents weren't in my life? Like, I really just sit down and really just think for just a second. Like, where would I be? Like, where would I be at? Where would I go? Like, and they, like, my parents, shout out to my parents, they really, like, raised me right. Like, I finished school, I did what I had to do, but I think as far as morals and as far as how I treat others, I definitely gotta like salute my parents on that, because
Absolutely.
I just think,
Shouts to them.
and it's like, it's not like, it's just the mom is just as important as the dad.
Yeah,
to me,
absolutely.
because it's like
Absolutely.
people, like the single mothers, single fathers, they, need their mom in their life, they need their dad. No, you need both parents because they're just as important. How important you think? I wanted to ask you how important you think parents play a role in your life now. Like, what would you say? How important you think parents are? Having parents.
It's highly important, man, because I did have both of my parents at home.
Okay.
But I want to say this too before I do answer your question.
Okay.
Just because you have both parents at home don't mean you come from a broken home. You know what I mean? It's also all about how healthy the relationship between your parents are and what they display in the household. But with that being said, my parents, as parents, they were excellent. They supported me. They never really try to sway me to do one thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, some parents are like tiger parents where they're on top of you. They
Strict.
It becomes toxic.
Sheltered.
You know what I'm saying? So they gave me the perfect balance way where they were strict on me, and then they set goals and standards for me, but at the same time they let me learn my lessons. And so a lot of things I had to learn for myself. And parents is never, they're not perfect. They're not without flaw. But
Definitely.
you know what I mean, my parents did their best with me, and I appreciate them. You know what I mean, I'm forever in debt to both my mom and dad.
Shout out to your parents though, bro. It's crazy because I remember like my parent touched it up on like the raising part, like when they raised me. I really do thank God, because sometimes the discipline was needed.
Yeah.
Or when I want to do this and when I want to do that. It was very much needed for me to really learn the lessons and stuff. And like you said, parents, mom and dad, they're not perfect. So it's like they learn it as they go.
Right.
And it's so crazy because we both need each other. Like, the child needs the parents just as much as the parents need the child.
Right.
So it's like we learn it from each other, but in the way of a loving, like just being all the way there for you. And it's crazy because definitely I'm blessed to have both my parents, and shout out to the single mothers and the single fathers. But I got the best of both worlds because my mom showed me something that my dad couldn't show me, and my dad showed me something my mom couldn't show me. So I was just like, whoa.
And I think that's key, bro, because a lot of people, and I think especially in this generation, we have a lot of women that unfortunately are single mothers. Yeah. And shouts to them, because they put it all on the line for their child.
Much respect.
But sometimes they feel that they can provide both roles. They can do both roles. And yes, in a way, but there's also things that a man possesses that you can't teach your child. You can't teach your child, if you have a boy, how to be a man. You know what I mean? He has to learn that from a father figure. And I think that's the beauty of life, that men have gifts that women don't, and women have gifts that men don't.
That part.
And we basically fit like a puzzle. So wherever I'm lacking in, you know what I mean, my woman's going to fill in, and wherever she's lacking in, I'm going to fill in.
That's like 50-50.
Right. And if we're going to try to do the same things, and it's like there's only one basketball, right? So imagine having, 5 scorers on the court.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We not gonna win. We need somebody that's gonna rebound. We gonna need somebody that's gonna play D. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has to have a role. I'm not saying it's gender roles. I don't want to put it like that, but I'm just saying you bring stuff to the table that I don't, and I bring stuff to the table that you don't, and that's what makes us a great team. And I think that's what relationships and parenting should be like.
And it's so funny that you mentioned, like, the single mothers, single fathers. And sometimes, single mothers and fathers don't have any choice. Sometimes,
Yeah.
things happen,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's really just about how you come together, I guess, raising the child.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the same time, just like you said, a man needs to raise a boy,
Right.
woman needs to raise a woman, but it's like it's crazy. Let's reverse it for a second. Like, I feel like the boy needs a mother too,
Absolutely.
and the girl needs the father too, because they need that father's love to see. Because it's like, I feel like, let's talk about the girl's perspective for a minute. Let's say that the girl doesn't have their father in their life, and so when they get older, they're gonna start looking for their dad and people that they date.
Right.
I noticed that too with people that in the dating scene, people I went and talked to. Some of them didn't have their father in their life,
Yeah.
and they looked at me as the father, like to be the dad and stuff like that. They looked at, and it's like, I feel like it's really vital for, I know that sometimes fathers are absent because us as men, I guess, get that kind of role where it's like, oh, my dad's not in my life. It's like common for some people, but I feel like for the women, they definitely need their dads in their life.
Yeah.
Going to the boys too. Boys definitely need their mother in their life too, because like I said, like when you going through like dating different women, it's like you're gonna look at your mom. You're gonna look at your mom as some people, or you're just gonna treat them. I feel like it's definitely vital for a boy to have a mother in his life too, because it's how you treat the woman too, going for the line. Because you could treat them, say, "Oh, I don't want that hoe around. Like, I don't want that whore." Like, and it's crazy because it's very important to treat women with the utmost respect, because they brought us into this world.
Absolutely.
So that's
queens.
something that goes
Queens.
and it's something that goes without saying. Come on,
Yeah. Nah, and I agree.
Come
I agree with your point, man. I think that a lot, when women have quote unquote daddy issues, what happens is that their father broke their heart before we as men even met them.
The picture.
Right. And then, and if they don't fix their trauma, then that can spill into the relationship. And same thing for a boy.
Right.
When the father's absent or the mother's absent, he's gonna have traumas that's gonna pass on to his relationship. So people's relationships are a reflection of their upbringing and their environment. And that's why it's important. Mental health is so important. Please, emphasis on that. If you have traumas from the past, please face them, and please go get the proper help that you need, man. It's essential.
It's funny too, because I feel like you need to, even before you even get into a relationship with a male, a female, or whatever the case may be, you need to come healed.
Yeah.
That goes what I was saying, just like you said with the therapy.
Yeah.
You need to come healed. You can't come in with stuff from the past and think, like, I feel like you have to come all the way healed before you even like dedicate most of your life towards me, because I feel like that's very important too, because you don't want to come into a relationship damaged. You don't want to say that you're damaged goods and this, that, and the third. You want to come into the space where it's like, okay, my man can love me, I can love my man, and vice versa.